The biggest threat to Bitcoin adoption is inside all of us. I have a personal story to share that will help explain. Also, three famous businessmen have an idea about portfolio management. Let's recall some of their wisdoms and determine how to apply it to ourselves. Finally, we lost the simplicity of money as we knew it when we were children. Who took that from us? Let's discuss all of this in another Summer Swan original. It's Sir Ulric and my signal meter is red, and I'm shocked at the numbness of no coiners as Bitcoin continues to remain fiat profitable, even providing a favorable dip for those that said that I ain't buying that at 70K. But it makes little difference for the casuals who just continue to watch from the sideline. And what are they waiting for? I don't know. Legend has it Joe Kennedy, RFK Jr.'s grandfather, decided to sell all his stocks before the 1929 crash because his shoeshine boy was talking to him about investments. Today, I haven't noticed any hint of new 2024 Bitcoiners coming in talking about sick gains, potentially signifying a market top. In fact, using Google Trends to define general interest, Bitcoin is only about 25% as interesting to the internet public as when it passed $40,000 for the first time in 2021. To put that in context, the same week was the January 6th Capitol event. Bitcoin was half as interesting as arguably the wildest news story to happen in America in 2021. Additionally, the lottery is on average 2.5 times more interesting than Bitcoin across America. Bitcoin as a topic has only passed the lottery on Google Trends once in the last 4.5 years. That would be the week of March 3rd this year, when Bitcoin was on the verge of breaking its previous all-time high of 69-ish thousand. I had a recent interaction with a family member that's been relatively unresponsive about Bitcoin during the 3 years I've been writing essays and making videos. The dialogue went like this. I get a text out of the blue talking about high-yield savings accounts and which ones do I have. And I laugh and say, I don't have any dollars, only enough to pay the bills. They know I have Bitcoin and then quickly diverted the conversation, wanted to talk about if I diversified. And I talked about the 5% savings dynamic if you can find it. If money printing is going up at 8-10%, food prices are going up the same, real estate is going up the same, all real return rates are in the negative. So kill me fast or kill me slowly. They said okay, and that was that. I think I received the classic meme shutdown before I could even talk about Bitcoin. You know, the one that says, I ain't reading all that, but I'm happy for you. Or sorry it happened. Now, this isn't a power play or an ego trip at a loved one's expense. It's just baffling. It's like asking a weightlifting expert how to get in shape by doing anything and everything but lifting heavy. I'm bringing up Culture Corner here, and surely many of you have heard this. Where does this man get these things? What is the wisdom given to him? How are such mighty works done by his hands? Is this not the carpenter, the son of Mary and the brother of James and Hoses and Judas and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us? And they took offense to him, and Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor, except in his hometown and among his relatives and in his own household. According to the text, as well as similar excerpts from Matthew, Luke, and John, many people marveled at the things Jesus was doing. But essentially, the chief haters were actually the people from Nazareth, his own hometown. Now, I'm not trying to turn this into a Bible study. My aim is to show that even 2,000 years ago, people were doing the same thing. The reception of almost any seemingly helpful message is negatively impacted if it comes from a familiar source. Back to my family member, they expected me to talk about some diversified plan, but notice they didn't ask what percentage should they put into Bitcoin. Chasing savings yield is like chasing the wind. So no matter what APY is advertised, no bank is giving you more yield than the rate at which your money is being debased. In other words, no bank will ever provide you with real net returns. I tried to provide that example to them, but they responded with a simple, okay. Not even curious as to why. The truth is, for many people, there is no magic chart that will make Bitcoin click in their head. There's got to be enough total time, void of distraction, confounding media narratives, and a bit of simple pattern recognition that will make people even be open to something as alien as Bitcoin. It's digital, but it's not inside a game or a closed network. It's exchangeable, but it's not a stock. And it's money, but it's not owned by a country, nor is it physical. It doesn't experience inflation like the currencies we're all forced to use. And although every board game you've ever played had finite money, Bitcoin is the only monetary network in the real world where its finite nature is guaranteed. It's like our formative years have actually trained us to be ready for a Bitcoin world, but politics, cultural Marxism, and flat out lies from public trusted figures have retrained us to see money bound by rules as nothing more than a child's game. It's tragic how far functioning adults have fallen to be pawns of the biggest greater fool's game ever written. Isn't it funny? My family member, they asked, I thought you were diversified, as if it were some common sense state of being. Where did that notion come from? But it was steel magnate Andrew Carnegie that said, put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket. Why is this renowned businessman speaking in opposition to diversification? Warren Buffett once said diversification is protection against ignorance. It makes little sense if you know what you're doing. Michael Saylor's kind of famous for addressing the diversification argument from an engineering point of view, so I'm going to go ahead and let him explain it. The all-seeing algorithm loves Saylorisms.
But when you go all in on something, I would say that does take conviction. Now, your conviction might be
How many chairs are you sitting on right now?
One.
Are you all in on the chair?
I am all in on the chair.
Like the point really is you put on one pair of glasses, you've got one pair of AirPods right now. You're looking at me through one screen. You're using one microphone. That's a one microphone. Like, you trust it? Is that conviction? Seems kind of scary. Why don't you diversify? Why don't you use 10 microphones? The point really is things in your life. Do you drive in 10 cars at the same time or one car at one time? Do you drive down one street? Aren't you afraid that you're driving down one street? Do you take a different way? You know? So my point really is, if you're you get on one airplane, are you convicted? You put your entire family on the one airplane, aren't you afraid? Ultimately, if you're a rational individual, when you use knives, do you have copper knives, wooden knives, steel knives, aluminum knives, rubber band knives, diamond knives, because you're afraid to commit to the right knife? It's a tool.
Saylor with the sauce. And truth be told, I only wanted to show about 20 seconds of that clip, but after watching it, I realized I just had to let him cook. Hat tip to Simply Bitcoin for capturing that one. But some people are going to ask, well, what about market share? So you're going to make a value allocation decision based on market share. I don't even need to show you the numbers with what happened to technologies and platforms that had market share. If you diversified to BlackBerry versus Apple, you lost your value. If you diversified to Sears versus Amazon, you lost your value. All we can assume is if you diversify away from the clearly stronger, faster, more efficient solution, you must like pain. People can pretend that they would buy a bag of groceries with indivisible gold, or even imagine that they can mandate cash preservation versus CBDCs in a losing battle of prisoner's dilemma. Or you can place your economic energy in the tried and true open source monetary network, where neither the state nor corporation have the energy or reach to confiscate from you. If time is money, this is life or death. With the advancement of BRIC nations, the discovery of Bitcoin, and the scary prospect of the coercive CBDC technology, every active economic participant is looking to shield their own ability to prosper in the rapidly changing and de-dollarizing economy. Why do you insist on being on the sideline? Privileged Americans in the hyper-political West, distracted by the narratives of their social commentary heroes, need to wake up before they are last to adopt this critical technology to preserve their wealth, time, and prosperity. Do you really think you're going to hear this from the newsman? I am Sir Ulric, like my father before me. Listen to it, brother. He may know a thing or two.